doing? Yeah, I'm here. How you doing? Happy Monday. I hope y'all had a good weekend. By the way, I'll just play this one right now. And yes, Tazzy.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Terrible. Let's try that again.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor
I'm
of
going to turn
the
my mic
day.
up. Holy smokes, I didn't realize I had it down so low. Anyway, good morning. Thank you, Tazzy. First of all, this is a early donation this morning, and thank you for the very generous donation. Tazzy with the $50. Damn, you go, Tazzy. It says, "Hey, PDawg, I'm too late to donate to your Trail Stop stream, but hopefully there's still time before your mother, Kathleen, returns to California for me to buy her a drink. Give her my best wishes all the way from Tasmania. Cheers, mate." Well, thank you, Tazzy, one of my other friends from down under, and you know how much I appreciate you, Tazzy. You always let me know, and let me know when you drop by the catching the replays, because I know it's really, really early in the morning for you to listen to this show. So I really appreciate you watching the show, and really appreciate it. And yes, my mother's having a great time while she's here. I'll tell you a little bit about that after the intro, and we'll do all that stuff in a little bit, and then we'll get caught up on the weekend. And yes, there is breaking news. You've probably already heard about Colin Powell. We'll talk about that shortly, but let's do that after the intro. Johnny, play the intro, please. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight.
And stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. And you know what? I got to tell you, I haven't done this for a while, and I think it just seems like a proper day to do it, because it is Monday. And you know what Mondays used to be around here? They used to be Metal Mondays. And, I miss the metal of Metal Mondays. Because, I don't know, wait, let me get the right volume thing here so I can just make sure it's not too loud. Although, really, when it's the metal, it should be loud. I have no idea what this is, but it's rocking. All right, let's turn that down a little bit, because I don't want to blow your ears out, and also I want to make sure you can hear me, because that is really, I am hoping that's what you came to hear, and not Metal Mondays. But we're gonna enjoy a little Metal Monday today, and if it's a little too loud, a little too crazy, you can let me know. Hopefully I get the level right. I've been trying to figure this out for a long time, how to get the music at the right level, but I think it balances out pretty good today. Although, hold on. Before I get into too much of that, there is breaking news this morning. Let me share these real quick. By the way, I am posting all the different links that I send when I go to, what the hell did I just do there? That was dumb. That's not what I meant to do. Well, it worked anyway. I am sending all the links to the various different, I don't even know how to do that here. Hang on a second. The various different social media that I use. If you're on any of these social media, I'd appreciate if you share them. Let's see. Where the hell is? Don't know how to do that here. Is that? There we go. So I've done it. We already did Twitter. We already did Gab. Did Minds, Cloud Hub, Parler, and finally Getter, which I just messed up too. Let's do that here. But that's not why I turned the music off. I turned the music off because we do have to say goodbye to General Colin Powell. If you haven't heard the news already, the general has passed away this morning from complications from the coup, from the 19. And we'll get into a little bit about the 19 today, but General Colin Powell has died of the 19 complications, according to his family. Now, the AP story, and it's interesting because this is breaking news, literally about an hour ago, I think, or maybe a little longer. I've started seeing messages about it. Or when I got home this morning, it showed up on Twitter about an hour ago. And so here's the AP's take on it. We'll read this one. General Colin Powell, who served Democratic and Republican presidents in war and peace, but whose sterling reputation... Now, this is funny. The AP, whoever writes this in the AP, is, has to start with what's negative about him. And I don't get it. Maybe you'd put it in the 5th, 10th, 20th paragraph, whatever. Or, do you really have to put this in the first paragraph? And I'm not a fan of Colin Powell anymore. I was until I learned more about all the BS from, well, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, but to put this in the first paragraph really kind of annoys me that they would do this. But, he was a dreaded Republican. Anyway, who served the Democratic Republican presidents in war and peace, but whose sterling reputation was forever stained when he went before the UN and made faulty claims to justify the U.S. war in Iraq. He has died of COVID-19 complications. He was 84 years old. Let's just keep that in mind. He was 84 years old. In 1989, Powell became the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In that role, he oversaw the U.S. invasion of Panama and later the U.S. invasion of Kuwait to oust the Iraqi army in 1991. But his legacy was scarred when in 2003, Powell went before the UN Security Council and made the case for the U.S. war against Iraq. He cited faulty information claiming Saddam Hussein had secretly stashed away weapons of mass destruction. Iraq claims that it had not represented a web of lies, he told the world body. In an announcement on social media, Powell's family said he'd been fully vaccinated. Oh, I thought being fully vaccinated would help you. Now, there's more details here because he had some other complications that probably, well, we'll see. It's funny because they say he died of stupid 19, but he had some other issues, and we'll talk about that. We have lost a remarkable and loving husband, father, and grandfather, and a great American, the family said. Powell had been treated at Walter Reed National Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Former President George W. Bush said he and former First Lady Laura Bush were deeply saddened by Powell's death. I'll get into that statement in a little bit. Powell maintained in a 2012 interview with the Associated Press that on balance, the U.S. succeeded in Iraq. I think we've had a lot of success. Powell said, Iraq's terrible dictator is gone. So the AP decided to make it about that. That's fine. And then on C-SPAN, here's the... Now, in fact, this was so soon, 8:26 a.m. Eastern time, so 7:26 is when we got the announcement from NPR, which is approximately the time that they announced to the world. Their message was simple. They haven't added to it yet. Colin Powell has served as... Now, this is how you do it. This is the right way. Okay? This is the right way to do it. Colin Powell, who served as Secretary of State during the presidency of George W. Bush and led the first Gulf War as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has died at age 84 of complications from the 19, his family confirmed. Powell, the first African-American to serve both of those senior posts, died Monday morning, they said, adding that he was fully vaccinated. We want to thank the medical staff at Walter Reed National Medical Center for their caring treatment. The family said in a Facebook post, "We have lost a remarkable and loving husband." Same statement as they made before. And maybe that's the proper way to do it. Now, if they add to this article later and put down in paragraph 26 something negative about him, or save it maybe till next week when they want to have an editorial about Colin Powell's, mixed legacy as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Secretary of State, that's fine. Don't write a negative article the morning he dies when his family is grieving. Do it a week later. Do it some other time. Just such tactlessness. Now, I also, in the tabs, Joe Scarborough gave a nice tribute to him this morning. I didn't listen to it all because I can't listen to his beaker and leaker, more than I have to. But if you want to listen to that, I'll leave that in the tabs down below in the news tabs, that I put every day. But yes, Powell was fully vaccinated. Now, another interesting thing about Colin Powell, and you'll see if you go on Twitter, you'll notice this. By the way, share the stream if you haven't done so already. Is that he had there's two problems here. Okay, one, he was 84 years old, so he's well into much longer than the normal lifespan of an American. Okay, now I always hate lifespan's not really a great measure, because lifespan can also includes people who die very young, and there's places where people die young, so the average lifespan is going to be much shorter. We've increased our lifespans because of the fact that we've eliminated a lot of the things that make people die when they're very young. So, whenever someone's talking about, wow, this guy lived way past the average lifespan, well, the average lifespan also includes people who die at 2 months or 1 month or under 1 year or SIDS or anything like that, So that's anyway. So, but as I'm looking at the thread, I'll put the medal back on in a minute. As I read some of these, okay, it looks like they have some now. It looks like they've added some obituaries. Reuters has an obituary. Should we read one of the obituaries? Let's see how Reuters does it, because I'm just curious how some of these news outlets handle this. So this is an obituary by Reuters on Colin Powell. Colin Powell, the son of Jamaican immigrants who rose to become the first black U.S. Secretary of State and top military officer, but whose reputation was tainted in 2003. Again, why? Why do you need to tell this in the first paragraph? Okay, a couple paragraphs down, sure, you can talk about the controversy, but why in the first paragraph do you have to, sully as his family is mourning? Well, because he was a Republican, so you can do that. But his reputation was tainted in 2003 when he touted spurious intelligence to the United Nations to make the case for war with Iraq despite deep misgivings. Died on Monday at age 84. Yes, is that the most important thing about his life? There's a whole lot of stuff he did other than that. But I guess I understand why it would be and should be significant, but maybe not in the very first sentence. Have some class. Despite being fully vaccinated against the 19, his family said he died due to complications from the disease. They have a read more? What are you going to read more about? Hang on a second. They have a little read more. I'll leave everything I open is going to be in the tabs. Don't worry. Okay. The condolences put it. Powell was one of America's foremost black figures for decades. He was named to senior posts by 3 Republican presidents and reached the top of the U.S. military as it was regaining its vigor after the trauma of the Vietnam War. Powell, who was wounded in Vietnam, served as a U.S. National Security Advisor under President Ronald Reagan from 1987 to 1989. As a 4-star Army general, he was chairman of the Military Joint Chiefs of Staff under President George H.W. Bush during the 1991 Gulf War, in which the U.S.-led forces expelled Iraqi troops from neighboring Kuwait. Powell, a moderate Republican and a pragmatist, considered a bid to become the first black president in 1996. Really? Was that what his bid was to be? Was his goal to become the first black president? No. He thought about running for president. Period. I don't think his great goal was to become the first black president anyway. But his wife Alma worries about his safety. It helped him decide otherwise. In 2008, he broke with his party to endorse Democrat Barack Obama, who became the first black president elected to the White House. Well, gosh, let's make sure we tie him to Barack Obama. Powell will forever be associated with his controversial presentation. Later, now see, that's the place to put it. That's the place. Don't put it in the first fucking paragraph, you jackasses. Anyway, you can read that. And then here's George W. Bush put out a statement. Remained friends with Powell right until the end, by the way. Statement by President George W. Bush and Colin Powell. Laura and I are deeply saddened by the death of Colin Powell. He was a great public servant, starting with his time as a soldier during Vietnam. Many presidents relied on General Powell's counsel and experience. He was National Security Advisor under President Ronald Reagan, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under my father and President Clinton, and Secretary of State during my administration. He was such a favorite of presidents that he earned the Presidential Medal of Freedom twice. He was highly respected at home and abroad. And the most important, Colin was a family man and a friend. Laura and I send Alma and their children our sincere condolences as they remember the life of a great man. So, again, remember, he was 84 years old, not a young man at all. And another complication that he had a form of cancer. And of course, the requisite responses to George W. Bush: a war criminal salutes a war criminal. Yeah, whatever. Not the time. Wait till tomorrow. Wait till a week later. So he also, oh gosh, and the HuffPost, of course. After presiding under George W. Bush's invasion of Iraq, in his later years, Colin Powell turned his back on Republicans as his party swung to the right. No, he went Team Dark Skin in 2008. Because John McCain, please, John McCain and Mitt Romney, please. That wasn't a swing to the right. Colin Powell did that before the party swung to the right. Anyway, somebody here said what his other complication were. Maybe it's just in the comments, because none of these outlets mention the other complications he was having. So let's see if it's in the comments of any of these tweets. Distinguished and honorable man, my only wish is he never dragged us, the U.S. into Iraq, as there were no WNDs. He didn't drag us into anything. He followed orders. His name is General. Oh, is this interesting? What did they do? He said something about former Secretary of State Colin Powell. I don't know why someone's complaining they didn't call him General. No, it's secretary. See, now this is funny, because usually you refer to somebody by their last and or most significant title. So, for example, because he was Secretary of State, a Secretary of State would be basically ranked higher than a general, so that you would refer to him as Secretary of State Powell. General Powell is an epitome of African American and black men throughout the world. Manhood, thank you, General, and rest in divine peace. I could almost guarantee that he would have survived if he didn't get vaccinated. Well, what? That's stupid. That's a stupid thing. And then this asshole, hey, COVID-19 finally did something. Fuck you. Jesus Christ. Anyway, he had complications from a form of cancer. I can't remember what kind it was. Two different perspectives. We have this morbid habit of washing history in cheery colors when it was very simple. He lied to the UN and EU, misrepresented intel to start a war we didn't need, effectively destabilizing the entire Middle East. Oh, as if. Now look, I'm no fan of the Iraq War, the second Iraq War at all. You know, in retrospect. But to say that the Middle East was ever stable? Are you fucking kidding me? Please. The Middle East has never been stable. Boy, I don't know. Yeah, I can't find it. Anyway, he did have a form of cancer, and he was battling that. That it's a form of cancer that reduced the cells that help you fight off, that produce antibodies, the white blood cells. So he was already in a fragile state. And so it's, between his age and his fragile state and the fact that the vaccination doesn't necessarily stop you from getting the disease, clearly, he succumbed to it. So he had comorbidities and he was aged. He's in that group that if you get it, you're in danger zone. You're definitely in a danger zone. Secretary of State Defense Lloyd Austin honors his longtime mentor, Colin Powell, following the former Secretary of State's death, says one of the world's greatest leaders that we've ever witnessed. And I lost a tremendous personal friend and mentor. I feel as if I have a hole in my heart. Well, and again, the WMD thing does taint his legacy. Anyway, all right, we're going to move on, but remember what today is. Oh, shoot. That ain't it. There we go. It's Metal Monday on the Morning Night Live. Welcome. Metal Monday on the Morning Night Live. And let's say good morning to people in the chat, because I feel as though I've left you out and I need to bring you back in. So first in the chat today. Oh, what? Y'all need to get some Bitcoin. Is that right? Is it Fox? Were you here first? Well, you're getting the bell because you're first on the list, and I'm going to say that you were first. I'm assuming you were here first. Anyway. Oh, yeah, you were first. Good job. Hey, you got here quick. Okay. Also, good morning to Jonathan Peterson, Aaron Meredith, Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning, Somnambule Nation, Septus Wolves. Nice to have you back. Nice to see you. Also, good morning to Jesse Leon, Tyler F. Who else is here? Boy, T-Ball's in the house. Zach Osborne, Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. Also, good morning, Nobody Not Me, Chicago Mike, K Show, HP Lovecraft. Nice to have you back. Also, good morning to the Asian Research Directorate, DI Freighter Watcher, Justin Anderson, and Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian, Tex AG 007, and also, I think that's everybody. Oh, Black Hebrew Israelites in the house.
That's right.
Nice to have you here. And anybody else? Did I get everybody? That's kind of everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday morning. I have been. By the way, I had a great weekend. So we took my mother to a couple cool places. First, we went to well, obviously, if you were watching the Trail Stop stream, you saw my mother there, and she had fun doing that. And then with that afternoon, we went down to a winery about 30 miles south of here. And fortunately, our friend who owns the winery gave us a really nice tour of the place. And then yesterday, we got up early and we drove up to the Split Rock Lighthouse up on the north shore of Lake Superior, and toured the lighthouse. And then we came back to Duluth and we went to a place called the Glen Sheen Mansion. Now I am going to, let me do this. I'm going to open a link to Glen Sheen Mansion, and because it's a fascinating place. And here, let's do this. I'll leave the link open in the and I'll have it in the tabs today, but it's at glensheen.org, and it's a fascinating place. One of our close friends, when she was young, she grew up in Duluth. She's in her 80s, and she had a friend who lived in the Glen Sheen Mansion back in the day. But it is now it's preserved by the University of Minnesota. It's a 32,000 square foot home in Duluth, and they have all the original furnishings. And it was the site of a murder mystery back in, I want to say, in the early 20s or something like that. And it's just a fascinating place. So, and so they do tours there, and it's been preserved by the University of Minnesota, and it has beautiful grounds. And I may even pop out a video one of these days just with some of the photos. Unfortunately, you couldn't take video inside the mansion, but we took tons of photos all around it, and it's just a fascinating place to go see, to see how it's exactly preserved. And they have little, you have your own, it's a self-guided tour you go on, and they have all these placards that tell you about each room and which family member lived in the room. And it was really cool. So that was a fun day, and my mother has been enjoying her time. She is leaving back for California tomorrow, so we're gonna do one other thing today here. The Minnesota Historical Society has an extensive, the Minnesota Genealogical Society has an extensive section on Irish immigrants. And all four of her grandparents immigrated here from Ireland. Or no, excuse me, grandparents or great-grandparents? Great-grandparents. No. Great-grandparents? Great-grandparents. All of her great-grandparents immigrated here from Ireland. And so we're going to go check out that archive because they have apparently it has one of the largest archives of Irish American immigrants. So we're going to check that out this afternoon. And then tomorrow she flies off. By the way, programming note, my show tomorrow will be in the afternoon because I have to take my mother to the airport in the morning. So there you go. Another place to add to my want to visit Google Maps. Are you talking about the mansion? Yeah, it's cool. In fact, like I said, today I will have their website. Their website will be in the links, in the news links today. So it's a really cool place. So good morning, by the way, to a horrible gamer. Also, who else just came in? I just saw somebody else. Oh, Bishop, what's happening? How you doing? Nice to see you here. All right, so let's get into this. I only have a few articles open, and it's mostly since Colin Powell has passed because of the coup. I wanted to kind of stick with that theme today. And then a few things that we had over the weekend. I have a few bookmarks. I didn't have a whole lot of them. By the way, real quick, thank you to Justin Anderson and Septus Wolf and Nobody Not Me, Scribe Light, Somnambule Nation, who I almost said your current pseudonym above your name there, and also Tyler F. for tweeting out the show. Also, Somnambule Nation for tweeting out on your own. I'm going to retweet you there also. And there you go. By the way, it is hoodie and fire pit weather in Minnesota. I know Jaeger Pody saw this on my tweets. So So let's get into some news. Should I do the bookmarks first? There's a couple funny things with bookmarks. Well, this bookmark is COVID related, and oh wait, I have some I have some COVID related tweets that we're gonna go to first, because some of this shit is just so pathetic. And then oh shoot, this one too. Oh gosh, it's pretty crazy out there, and I just don't get it. By the way, on YouTube I subscribe to I think his name's Dr. John Campbell, and if you want someone who has a very neutral take and a very scientific, virology background take on everything COVID, you should listen to him. He's very, 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 he's very even, balanced, and factual based, and with zero opinions. Okay, well, I shouldn't say zero opinions, zero agenda, and he criticizes governments and praises governments when it's appropriate. And but as far as I've learned a lot from him, because he explained one of his videos on natural immunity. I thought was very good, and it helped me understand. One of the problems is that people are always talking about antibodies, and so, for example, there's certain cells in your body that produce antibodies, and for example, when you have the 19. Not only does your body produce antibodies to fight it, and those antibodies will last quite a while, they also produce the cells, or they fortify the cells that produce those antibodies, and it has a memory in those cells, so that so for example, when you get the juice, the Fauci juice, it will protect you against two versions of this, and two whatever, right? Two different paths to being sick. Well, when you actually survive the coof, like now, you know what? By the way, there's someone else who was saying that he was saying there's 90 million Americans who've had the coof. I wasn't sure if that didn't sound right, but apparently I've only been looking at Worldometer, and apparently they don't report all of them on Worldometer. It's like 90 million, and so I'm one of 90 million, roughly 90 million people who survived this. But anyway, when you get the actual disease and you recover from it, not only do you get the antibodies, but the cells that produce antibodies have that memory, and it protects you against like 20 different variants of that. And he's just explaining how that works, because it's the antibodies themselves will wane, but should you get it again, those cells that produce the antibodies have a memory that will produce them again. So it was just interesting, and it was very fascinating. Maybe I'll link that one in the tabs down below too. Good morning, Legit Low Talker. So, horrible game. No. I am not from California originally. I was actually born in St. Paul, and then I lived in a foster home for 4 years. My mother had to give me up for adoption when I was born. I lived in a foster home for 4 years near Dubuque, Iowa, and then I ended up being adopted by a family in Omaha, and I grew up in Omaha, went to school in Des Moines for 4 years and lived there 6, and then I have lived in Minnesota for the last 32 years now. So, no, I'm not from California. How is Duluth? Never makes the bad news out of Minnesota. Duluth's a really beautiful town. It's right on the lower, the southwest corner of Lake Superior. It's a huge shipping port. It's a huge shipping port, and because as far as the Great Lakes goes, and it was one of those places where there's a series of locks that you can traverse a ship all the way from Duluth all the way to the Atlantic Ocean and beyond. And so it's a beautiful town. There's beautiful bluffs on one side of the town, and the fall colors are beautiful. And then you drive up the North Shore. You can go all the way up the North Shore of Lake Superior, Minnesota, all the way up to Canada. But it's gorgeous. So anyway, Susan will cancel him now. No, Susan will not cancel him. He's it's interesting. It's interesting if you listen to him. He presents everything in a spectacularly neutral way and has a really good way of explaining things. And so, no, he's absolutely fantastic. COVID-19, no worse than the flu, but somehow you're killing grandma. Well, the 19 is killing grandma. You know what's fascinating about that whole thing, too? So, if the most susceptible people are, older than 60, into their 70s, into their 80s, I always wonder how many of those people are passing because they're old too. It's a big part of it. It's just fascinating. It's if most people are at their so-called life expectancy in those years. 84 years old. Colin Powell was 84 years old. Now again, he had some other complications from that, and so he, is this a case of him dying because of COVID or dying with COVID? His family says that it's complications from COVID. I'm assuming that the comorbidity is his age and the fact that he has this other disease that makes it hard for him to produce antibodies would be the problem. So, that's one of those diseases you're more likely to acquire later in life. Anyway, so I don't know. It's fascinating. DI put a video of the Duluth Harbor in your Discord. Oh, fantastic! I will check it out. So Lady Boomer and I, a year ago, took a trip to the North Shore. We did the waterfall trip, right? And then 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the last time my mother came up here, we also went up there. We went to Gooseberry Falls and we went to the Duluth Harbor, and I have a great video. There's this 1,000-foot freighter, it's 1,099 feet long, huge freighter that was coming out. They have this giant lift bridge coming out of the harbor, and so there was this. I have a video of this 1,000-foot freighter going out of the harbor into Lake Superior to ship whatever it was shipping. It was really fucking cool to watch too. Good morning, Infamous One. How you doing? All right, let's get into it though. Let's start with the. I gotta turn this down I gotta pause this for a second because these have sound, and you're gonna want to see these now. This one. I wonder if I should take the sound off of this one. So this is a video that's called Pandemic Hugs Be Like. Now, this is a grandmother apparently saying a granddaughter, grandbaby or something. And who knows when this is actually from. It may be from early in the pandemic or whatnot. But I just gotta ask, is this really how you want to do things? And we don't even know which country this is, but here's the video. Be prepared to crimp. Oh, maximum length is 1,014. Oh, maybe it was a 900-foot freighter. It was a long ass freighter. It was roughly almost 1,000 feet. I know for a fact because I remember they were talking about it as it was going out of the. They had when a lot of times when those freighters come out of the harbor, there's a speaker system that they have that you can listen to, and they tell you all about that particular freighter leaving the harbor. And so we were listening to that while it was happening. Anyway, here is the cringe video of the day. I think you may have seen it if you've seen some other shows, but I just have to show you this one because this is so sad. Anyway, here it is. It's 10-second long. Grandma all... Okay. Really? Really? Yes, it's the hug through the plastic sheets. Although I do like watching this video. I mean, there's certainly there is an enjoyable aspect to this video. I probably shouldn't have said that. Anyway, yeah. People have lost their damn minds. I gotta tell you. It's from early on in the pandemic? Well, early on or not, it is sad. It is sad. And, but you know, I guess people were afraid and they got to do what they got to do. I'm just curious how grandma was breathing in there though. Is that grandma or grandpa? I can't even tell. Curious how they were breathing. And then also another video that is making the rounds today is that apparently, you know how, okay, so you know how every time the president gives an address and he comes from the back of the, he comes out from the back of the press secretary room or whatever he walks across about 30 feet over to his podium, and he always makes a big show of, he walks out, he always has a mask on, and then he makes a big show of taking that mask off as he's walking up to the podium and setting it down. Well, here's the president of the United States. Here's the president of the United States walking into a restaurant within the last couple days. Oh, who's that? No, that's Jill Biden. Jill, you know, the first lady, right? And that's Jill Biden right there. And who's this guy behind her? Oh, there's President Joe Biden. Now, there's really something weird that it's missing. There's something missing here. I'm just curious. Yeah, that's there he is, Mr. You know.
Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. Anyway, all right. So President Biden and First Lady Jill caught on video maskless during a dinner date at the upscale Field of Mar restaurant in Washington, D.C. in violation of the district's indoor mask mandate. Does the District of Columbia have an indoor mask mandate? Well, if you're the President of the United States, you certainly can go without a mask, but I always wonder why he all of a sudden, he always has it when he's going to come out and talk to the press. Anyway, good morning, Don Julio. Good morning, Wikipedia Snippet. Nice to see you this morning. All right. Now, on that note, Dr. Fauci, if you were planning on having some gathering with your family on the holidays, well, Dr. Fauci says that you're allowed if you're fully vaccinated. Dr. Fauci says if you're fully vaccinated, you are allowed to go have, you're allowed to enjoy your family. Let's see what this video is. If this is it.
Chief Medical Advisor Anthony Fauci.
Oh, okay, never mind. This is just reading the article. So, President Biden's Chief Medical Advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, provided reassurance to Americans eager to spend time with relatives in the coming months, saying on Sunday that they could convene if everyone is fully vaccinated. Well, thank you, Dr. Fauci, for giving us your blessing. I believe strongly that, particularly in vaccinated people, if you're vaccinated and your family members are vaccinated, those who are eligible, that is obviously very young children are not yet eligible, that you can enjoy the holidays. You can enjoy Halloween, trick-or-treating, and certainly Thanksgiving with your family and Christmas with your family, Fauci said on Sunday's ABCs this week. Fauci said that when the level of 19 transmission is down, fueled by the vaccines, there's no reason at all why you can't enjoy the holidays in a family way. That's one of the reasons why we've emphasized why it's so important to get vaccinated, not only for your own safety, for that of your family, but also for the good of the community, to keep the level of infection down, Fauci said. Earlier this week, President Biden lauded the progress that the United States has made in vaccinating the population, noting that on Thursday that in the last 6 weeks, hospitalizations had declined 38% and the 19 infections had declined 47%. Well, when you got a good portion of the population vaccinated, plus another 91 million who's already had the disease, you're probably not going to see as many sorry, I forgot the music. You're going to see the infections go down. Not a shocker, but still, I'm believing that this is, it's probably endemic. All right, let's move on here. What is this here? Oh, but in Australia, for my Australian friends, Victoria becomes the first Australian state to ban unvaxxed MP from Parliament. This member of Parliament had a few words to say about it. Let's listen to this particular member of Parliament. Let's pause the music here so you can hear it. All right, here's a member of Parliament in Australia who has a few words about this policy.
The Liberal Democrats oppose COVID vaccine mandates. We oppose them as a condition on work, we oppose them as a condition on participation in public life, and we oppose them as a condition on entering this chamber. Throughout this pandemic, this government has used increasingly draconian and tyrannical tactics. Now you've rolled out the vaccine mandates, outrageous breaches of the rights of individual Victorians to consent to medical treatment, forcing employers across the state to fire workers who refuse to bend. The government demonstrates that in Victoria, human rights are nothing more than a joke. You might as well issue the Charter of Human Rights as toilet paper in this place.
Now, I think the only reason they did jump cuts here, they didn't alter his speech. They just shortened it so it wouldn't take so damn long. Apparently, he was pausing in between each sentence for quite a while.
This is what the government's been using it for, and clearly what they believe it is worth. As if all this authoritarianism wasn't sufficient, this government is now trying to expel their opposition from Parliament. This motion is designed to suspend members of Parliament who oppose vaccine mandates. It's a deliberate effort to subvert democracy. There are thousands of Victorians who are concerned about this vaccine and whose voices deserve to be heard. But you want to silence their voices, as you have been doing all through this state of emergency. This government has been crushing dissent, arresting people for Facebook posts, hunting down, tear-gassing, beating and even opening fire on protesters with potentially lethal ammunition. And today, you turn your fire on the Parliament. Apparently, the government decided the best way to respond to accusations of being power-mad and out of control was to tear up centuries of precedent and expel the members of Parliament who oppose them. This is not the first time in history we've seen members of a Parliament being expelled. Many will hopefully remember from their high school history lessons how in 1933 in Weimar, Germany, the Nazis purged the Parliament of opposing voices so they could gain a two-thirds majority before passing...
He broke Godwin's law. He broke Godwin's law. But anyway, I'll let him go. I'm going to let you speak. Anyway.
The enabling act that allowed them to rule by decree. You might not like that association, but this is a historical company you're joining today with this motion. The stand we take today is for choice. The stand we take today is for the Victorians who are being coerced to take vaccines despite strong objections, and those who, despite the pressure, despite being forced to risk their jobs, their homes, their families' futures, are refusing to comply. I stand in solidarity with these Victorians, and I will not comply.
Okay, I added the cheering and clapping, but he deserves it because, he's right. I mean, and plus, it's funny because some of the evidence, especially when they say, well, here in the States, so for example, when they say that, they want everyone to be vaccinated. Well, again, the people who, now look, the other part of for example, the thing I was listening to with John Campbell, he also conceded that, people who've had the disease, are more likely to have the natural immunity, which is great, but that you could, being vaccinated on top of that would give you another level of protection. Now, would it be significant and how long lasting? Who knows? But at least the cells that produce your natural antibodies would have that memory. So again, it's kind of crazy how they've politicized this. Anyway, now what's interesting is there's this article here. Here's a doctor who I don't know if he was doing this because of Trump or if he had a reason that, you know, was more, what's a good word for this? More from an ethics standpoint. But article in this MIT technology review talking about how this doctor had campaigned to stop the 19 vaccine being rushed through before Election Day. Oh, interesting. How hard Dr. Eric Topol used his social media account to kill off Trump's October surprise. After being released from Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on October 5th, U.S. President Donald Trump praised the doctors who treated him for stupid 19 and promised that the public would soon have a juice against the deadly coronavirus. We have the best medicine in the world, and very shortly they are all getting approved, and the vaccines are coming momentarily, he said in a video statement shared with millions of Twitter followers across the country. In California, a doctor named Eric Topol was responding in real time on social media because he was one of those jackasses that follow Trump and try to be one of the first ones to respond, kind of like Brooklyn Dad Defiant Bat Jackass, anyway, or the Kassensteins or whatever. Anyway, by that point, Topol, a heart expert and researcher with a huge Twitter following of his own, was already weeks into a personal campaign to make sure the administration could not rush a stupid 19 Fauci juice through regulatory authorization before Election Day on November 3rd. So it sounds to me he had a political reason for this. An editorial in the New York Times had raised the possibility of an October surprise juice back in June and warned that a juice approval could turn into a campaign stunt. Topol, who works at the Scripps Research Institute in La Jolla, is one of the country's most prominent doctors, one of the country's most prominent doctors aimed to prevent Trump from greenlighting a vaccine before scientists could prove it's safe and effective. Really? Or was it that he just didn't want it before Election Day? Because it's interesting how they focused on Election Day as though that were the important date for them too. Now, I would have been skeptical too had they rushed it through before Election Day. I'd have my skepticism hat on, but it seems like everyone wanted to play politics with this and not actually do what was best for the people. Because if you think about it, well, didn't this doctor just try to stop a vaccine that could have saved millions of lives? Anyway, now, and the question was, if Trump had badgered the U.S. Food and Drug Administration into prematurely releasing a juice that wasn't effective or even caused harm, it could shake the public's trust in any stupid 19 juice. Interesting. Is that why they don't report on the VAERS report? By the way, I should probably find that. I now follow someone on Twitter that simplifies the VAERS report and has a summary constantly of it. By the way, did you know? Okay, let me know in the chat if you knew this. That over 16,000 people have died from the Fauci juice in the United States. And there's been like 700,000 reports of adverse reactions to the Fauci juice. Now, Dr. Campbell has a couple videos, and he's been talking about this a lot. And part of that could be due to how it is administered in the United States. I listened to a video this morning of his that maybe explains some of the adverse reactions, and it has to be administered properly. And they're in Denmark and in a couple other countries, they've already made sure that it's called aspiration, making sure that you're giving it into a muscle and not into a, not directly into the bloodstream. So they have to be careful about how they administer it. People who have had it administered into muscle are less likely to have those complications. But yeah, I had no idea. That's strictly from the VAERS reports. So it could be more. But, you know, now, let me give you a caveat here. When you compare it to 700,000, whatever, 750,000, you know, COVID deaths, you have to balance that between how long there's been COVID, how long there's been vaccines, and so on and so forth. But it still makes you wonder, you know, it's interesting they're not making that information as well known. You know, you have to go dig into these reports, and it's not easy necessarily to, I don't know if it's, well, I'm not sure if it's easy. They're not promoting access to it. Obviously, this particular account that parses the data continually has access to it. So I'm not sure what the public access to these reports are. But interesting that you've never heard, I bet you I'd never heard that. I knew that there were people who had adverse reactions and passed. I knew there was the deal with the heart arrhythmia, especially in teenage boys. You know, I've heard different things, and even that heart arrhythmia thing. Now, when they were doing the experiments on humanized mice, that happened when it was delivered directly into the bloodstream and not into muscle. So that's maybe where when you're doing vaccinations that of this particular variety, that you have to make sure that you're doing it into muscle and not in the bloodstream. You have to aspirate the procedure. So anyway, good morning. Check your logic, by the way. Anyway, but still, even then, it gives you protection. It doesn't give you immunity from the disease. Anyway, you can read about this guy who was trying to. Now, it's hard to say if this was because this guy was one of those. We were on a path for a vaccine emergency authorization before November 3rd. Thanks to the FDA, Trump's plan was disrupted. That won't happen. First real sign of the independence of the FDA since the pandemic started, and that's important. And you know what? Honestly, he's probably right there. You know, how many people would have been pushing the juices if they had rushed it before the election? And I don't think Trump, certainly he was putting pressure on them to speed this up, warp speed. But still, this guy it could also be said that this guy was trying to delay the life-saving juice for political purposes. So anyway, you can read this article. It's an interesting article in the MIT Review here. Let's close that. All right, let's move on here. No, it's already 10 after. Okay. So I'm going to go back into some of the stuff that I was doing online. By the way, thank you, Simic Magic, also for tweeting out the show, or for retweeting the show. I want to go into some things that I was going through this weekend. Tweet to replies. Let me find this real quick, because there was this is fascinating, and maybe you saw this tweet because I commented on it over the weekend. So apparently, Vice President Kamala Harris. Let me back up. So big governor's race in Virginia, right? Terry McAuliffe, former Clinton crony, well, still a Clinton crony, but and also former governor, Democrat from hell, and he's running for governor again in Virginia, and he's running against what's his name? What's the Republican guy? Glenn Youngkin. Okay, they're running for governor. And it's a tighter race than Democrats expected. And, being a Clinton crony, McAuliffe is bringing in the big guns. He's having the Clintons come in and talk for him. He's having Barack Obama come in and campaign for him. He's having the president's going to come in and campaign for him, which is, I don't know if it's a good thing for him, but, he's going to try it anyway. But also, here's an interesting thing. And this is fascinating. So Kamala Harris is going to be sending a message.
Greeting.
Hang on a second. We're gonna watch this because she's a terrible speaker, by the way. I've never realized how horrible she is maybe I have, but she's just terrible. Very low charisma. This more than 300 black churches across Virginia will hear from Kamala Harris between Sunday and November 2nd in a video message that will air during morning services as a part of their outreach effort aimed to boost Terry Mcauliffe. Now, this is fascinating. Let's listen to the message that Kamala Harris is going to be. Apparently, they're going to broadcast it in black churches across Virginia. Like this tells me they're really scared that the poll numbers some tells me that Terry McAuliffe's polling looks terrible, and Democrats especially, they know that there's going to be a big challenge for them come 2022, and if you see a huge change in party governing in Virginia, because because of Northern Virginia and all the people in DC that work in DC are in Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia, pretty much how Northern Virginia go, usually Virginia goes, right? And it's very heavy Democrats in Northern Virginia. But if Glenn Youngkin could pull this big upset, which it looks like they're neck and neck. It's a close race. And the Democrats are scared. They're, like I said, they're bringing in all the big guns. But if they are actually going to have this message play in black churches, well, first of all, there's a little problem. I don't think this is legal. Maybe, now I'm not 100% sure. It could be legal in Virginia for all I know, but it seems really weird. Now let's listen to the vice president's message to the black churches in Virginia. Listen to this message too. I understand if you had a message that says, get out and vote without mentioning your candidate, I can understand that. But let's listen to Kamala Harris' message that will be played in black churches, 300 black churches in Virginia between now and November 2nd, election day in Virginia. Here it is.
Greetings.
Hang on. Thank you, Baby Vazo. Our second donation of the day. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Who says, do Republicans ever campaign this hard for each other? I mean, damn, everyone's always complaining about money in politics. What the hell is this? They do. I mean, for example, you see President Trump while he's going around the country, he's rallying. I mean, I wonder who's running Trump's business right now. But anyway, he's going around and he's campaigning for people too. So yeah, I'm sure he does. But listen to this. Listen to this message. By the way, thank you, Baby Vaza, for sponsoring the show, and I greatly appreciate it. Democrats, it seems a little desperate, even though I think Terry McAuliffe probably will win that race, just because but see, here's the thing. These off-year elections that are not in presidential years, it's harder to get people to come out. So this is why they're trying to get all the black folk to come out. They go come get us black folk, and they go come down to our meeting, and they're going to tell us who to vote for. And they're going to gather us up after church. We're all going to get on the bus at church and go down there and do the early voting. Anyway, listen to Kamala Harris's message here.
Everyone. So when I was growing up, greetings everyone. So when I was growing up, We sang in the choir at Oakland's 23rd Avenue Church of God.
Did we now? Did we now? And Kamala, I got a question. Who the fuck is we? Who is we? Listen to their sentence again. Who the hell is we?
Greetings, everyone. So when I was growing up, we sang in the choir at Oakland's 23rd Avenue Church of God. We
who? Oh, wait. She said she sang in the choir, but now she's telling you what they sang.
Sang hymns about how faith combined with determination will see us through difficult times.
Did you now? Now, it's amazing. It's amazing how incredibly how much Kamala Harris has in common with us black folk, okay? Because it's weird because her mother's Indian and she grew up mostly in Canada, for the beginning of her life, and then they moved to Oakland, but the father's Jamaican, and I don't know what he did, but but she's trying to relate to black folks, so she's trying to make it sound like she did black things when she was growing up. It's interesting because I know when she came to the Senate, she was billed as the first Indian American senator, but I digress. She got to try to pull out a black card. So but now I will say she did go to an HBCU, aka Historically Black College University, and she was in a black sorority, one of the sororities down there. So she's got a little bit of a black cred, but I just say it. She pulls out this black card when it comes to churches. I'm surprised she's not speaking in some, speaking like Hillary Clinton and shit. Anyway, let's listen to the rest of this nonsense. It is the royal we. She thinks she is some sort of predestined nobility or something. I don't know what she thinks, but saying we, who's we? Did you sing in the choir, Kamala? Or did you just sit back there and laugh with that goofy laugh that you always use? Anyway.
And we were taught that it was our sacred responsibility to raise our voice and lift up the voices of our community.
What? It was our sacred what? What'd she say? Our sacred. She said we were taught that it was our sacred responsibility to raise our voice and lift up the voices of our community. Really? In church they told you that? I don't remember hearing that in church. I remember hearing you lift your voice to God and you praise God and you ask for forgiveness of your sins. And but I don't know about all that. Hello, Jason Arnold, by the way, and Furry Kitten. Nice to see you. I'm confused. I am confused because of course I was in an Episcopal church, so we were kind of like Catholic light, and so I just I don't know. Maybe and it was a black church. It was all black people except for we had the one. It's funny because this is the other thing. So I grew up in a black Episcopal church in Omaha, Nebraska, right? And it was mostly black congregation. Although we had a white priest for a while, which is fine. It doesn't matter because we're just all praise the same God. But it was funny because I with this black church, and there was one white woman who went there regularly. There's a couple white people, but mostly just this one lady. And I remember her because she taught Sunday school, and we loved her. She's a nice lady, but she was in my church, all black people, the only single mother in our whole church that I remember was this white woman. And it was just now that I look back on it, I go, wow, that's kind of weird. I didn't know any single mothers. I didn't know any kids in my church who didn't have two parents. So, we go to other kids' houses every once in a while, even though I didn't live near a church, but I went to I was in a club called Jack and Jill that we went to, and it was all black kids. And it was interesting that she was the only single mother in our church was a white woman. So, it was, family and shit. Anyway, but, so she learned that it was your responsibility to lift up other voices. That's interesting. Anyway, All right.
One of the most significant ways I believe that we can each use our voice is through our vote.
Oh, through our vote. Okay,
So,
good.
Virginians, you have the opportunity now to raise your voice through your vote.
Okay.
Because it's election time.
Oh, it's election time.
As you know.
Yeah, election time. You know what election time is. Election time is the time that Democrats come running around to our churches and asking us for our votes all the time. Them Democrats just love to come talk to us come election time. Now, in between election times, well, that's a whole different story. But that election time, boy, these Democrats love, especially presidential candidates, but the governor candidate too. And so they're going to send this message. It's election time. There you go. Anyway, all right, let's see what else she has to say.
No. This is an important election coming up on Tuesday, November 2nd.
Is it an important election? Well, that's good, because I really don't like to vote in the unimportant elections. You know, the unimportant elections, I try to avoid, because, you know, it's just a waste of time if you're going to the unimportant election. But this is the important election. Okay, tell me more about your important election. Just saying. Let me just tell me a little more about your important election. Why is this an important election? Oh, I know. Because the Democrat is struggling a little bit. And so this is an important election to get all us black folk out there to make sure we come and vote for them Democrats, right?
And early voting is already underway.
Oh, good. You mean the time when they, when it's easiest just to slip by the cracks and just get in there without being checked too closely? I don't know. I don't know how early voting works in Virginia. I know here it's like you go to a polling place and you vote, but early voting is great, because I think in some states they open it up on Sunday so that all the people in the black churches can all jump in the bus and go to the polling place in the bus. Anyway, let's listen to what she says here, because I think that's what she could allude to here.
I believe that my friend Terry McAuliffe is the leader Virginia needs at this moment.
Oh, wait a minute. So this is okay. Hold up. Now, we said this is a message that's going to be played in 300 black churches in Virginia. And she just mentioned a candidate's name. Really? There's got to be something wrong here. Because, you know, I know people get all, and I don't like it this either. I don't like it when candidates go to the I can't even say it, evangelical churches either. You know, the white evangelical. I don't, you know what? I don't want y'all, it's free speech and all, but there are some rules for nonprofits as far as doing political campaigning and she just said Terry McAuliffe's name. Isn't that campaigning for a specific candidate? I'm just saying. This is so weird to me.
Terry McAuliffe has a long track record of getting things done for the people of Virginia.
Does he now? A long track record for the people of Virginia. What has he done? Now, look, when he got out of the Clinton crony bandwagon, you know, for when Clinton was no longer president and Hillary lost. I love saying that. Anyway, when Hillary lost and Terry McAuliffe didn't, I think he ran for governor. Maybe he was governor when Hillary Clinton. Was he governor when Hillary Clinton ran for president? I don't remember, but he was the governor already. Now, it's funny too, because in theory, the governor of Virginia, they have rules in Virginia that you can only run, or let's see, it says you can only be governor for 4 years, but there's some like jaded language in there. So somehow Terry McAuliffe is somehow getting to run again. I don't know how it works, but long track record of getting things done in Virginia. Well, he's never represented for Virginia for anything other than when he was the governor for 4 years. He wasn't in the Virginia Senate. He wasn't a senator or a congressperson for Virginia. He was always a Clinton, advisor type guy. I don't think he's ever been held office in Virginia other than the governor. At least, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong there, but the long track record of getting things done for the people of Virginia. Okay, do you have any examples, Kamala? And why are you keep saying his name if this is a message that's going out to black churches? By the way, good morning, T. Mathers. And yes, Kamala is incompetent. Yeah, she kind of is. Well, who knows? Well, I'm still waiting for her to do the stuff she's supposed to be doing on the border. Isn't she the border? Is she the border czar? Is she still the border czar? I think, yeah, I thought so. I don't know why he's sitting over there. Usually he's over here, but is he the border czar? Yeah, Kamala Harris, border. Yeah. How's that border going? I don't know. I don't think she knows. I think she's avoiding it. She don't want to talk about the damn border. All right, let's see what else she says about Terry McAuliffe.
When he was governor, in the wake of the recession, you'll remember, he brought 200,000 jobs to Virginia.
Did he? Okay, I try to figure out. Because I got to look this up now, because she said in the wake of the Wait a minute. Hold up. We got to look something up here real quick. Hold up. Let me click out of this. Terry McAuliffe. How you spell it? Okay, we're going to look up Terry McAuliffe. When was he governor? Where is here, I'll go to Wikipedia. We're going to look up, because I can't remember when he was governor. Let's see. 2013 gubernatorial election. Yeah, defeated Republican Jelly. Okay, he running. Okay, when was he? He was governor from. Let's see, governor of Virginia, 2014 to 2018. 2014 to 2018. Now, she said something about him bringing jobs. What did she say? Jobs to Virginia. Where did it go? Where'd she go? Where did she go? Oh, it's over here? Yeah, I'm going to put this over here so you can find it. Okay, she said that he was bringing jobs to Virginia. 200,000 jobs to Virginia while he was governor. 2014 to 2018. Now, I know during part of his term, no, it's 2016. So there's only 1 year. Okay, maybe. I mean, we're kind of coming out of the recession. Weren't they giving Barack Obama credit for that? And the first year of Trump, I know that things did pretty good, but that was 2017. I don't know about that. I'm curious. Thank you, Black Keeper's Life, for sponsoring the show. Oops, I keep it wrong.
That's right.
Thank you, Black Keeper's Life. Who says, oh, this is gonna be good. Black Hebrew Israelite says, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to put Metal Monday back on too, because hang on, because I need to have some sauce with this thing. Let me skip this song. Let's try a new song. Here we go, Metal Monday, and we're going to read this lovely super chat. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who says, I should do it in like metal voice, but I'm not going to. BJ, this is actually some sublime music for this. BJ Harris is asking for black Christians to vote away their parental responsibility to educate their kids and remove their bodily autonomy.
That's right.
Black people, do as you're told, because a half-black Asian woman whose family owned black slaves is just like you.
That's right.
Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. Oh, wow, the crowd is going wild. That's fantastic. Yes, she's just like you, black folk. Growing up with those Indian traditions, just like most black people in America. Anyway, let's see if she says anything else significant here.
Incomes went up and unemployment went down in every city and county in the state.
Okay, that happened in every city, county, and state in America between 2000 2014 and 2018 and continuing it up until 2019. Right? I'm sorry. So, what is she talking about? Every state in the union, jobs went up in those years. The recession was basically over. Okay, now they didn't go up in the very big. 200,000 jobs in Virginia over 4 years. That doesn't 50,000 jobs a year in Virginia over 4 years. That doesn't even sound like that much. And right, Avocado Stabby, good point. The government doesn't bring in jobs. They just temporarily loosen the restrictions they made that kept them out in the first place. But yeah, the government doesn't create jobs. They just don't. Anyway, what else does she say here?
And now, Terry McAuliffe is stepping up again with a clear vision about how to rebuild Virginia's economy.
Is he going to build back
future.
better? Is he going to build back better?
To raise the minimum wage. To make...
Raise the minimum wage? Now, I had this conversation in the last few days about raising the minimum wage. Who exactly... What jobs right now pay minimum wage? Now, I look at the fast food joints right around my house. They pay between $14 and $16 an hour. That's not minimum wage. Then usually those are kids who work there anyway, but now a lot more old adults work at those because of that. Warehouse jobs around here start at $16, some start at $20, some start at $22 an hour. Where's the minimum wage jobs? Cleaning jobs starting at $15 an hour around here. Where are the minimum wage jobs? Raising the minimum wage in Virginia ain't gonna do anything. I bet you. I'm gonna go look through some Virginia want ads to see if anyone pays minimum wage. I bet you every McDonald's in Virginia pays at least $12, $13, $14 an hour minimum. The ones in Northern Virginia probably pay $15 an hour. There are no minimum wage jobs in Virginia.
Make healthcare more affordable.
Make healthcare more affordable. How are you going to do that? How's a governor going to do that? How is a governor going to make healthcare more affordable in Virginia? I don't know. Find a way to improve your insurance premium somehow? I don't know. How's the governor going to do that?
To give every child a world-class education.
Yeah, not going to happen. Do you know why? You can't promise that. But you can promise the opportunity for every child to get a world-class education, except probably ain't gonna happen in the public schools. But you can strive for it. I understand that she's saying he's gonna strive for that, but a governor in Virginia only lasts 4 years. So interesting.
Virginians, you deserve a leader who has a vision of what is possible and the experience to realize that vision. Terry McAuliffe is that leader.
And this is, again, remember where this message is going. It's going straight into 300 black churches. They're going to run an ad campaign by the Vice President of the United States into churches for a candidate, a political candidate who has a party affiliation. They're going to run this in the church. This is an ad for Terry McAuliffe, basically. It's not a get out the vote message. This is a vote for Terry McAuliffe message that they're going to play in churches. Is this going to ruin their tax exempt status? I'm curious.
In 2020, more Virginians voted than ever before.
Oh, I thought there were voting restrictions.
You helped send President Joe Biden and me to the White House.
Oh, you probably shouldn't have said that part, because there's some people kind of disappointed in that whole aspect. You might have just should have shut them. You should have left that out of your. You probably should have left that out of your little speech here. Madam Vice President, you should have left that out of your speech. I'm sorry.
This year, I know that you will send Terry McAuliffe back to Richmond. So early voting has already started, And this is the first year that you can vote on Sunday.
Oh, so see, now they're going to get them all. They're going to get them right after the meeting. They're all going to get on some buses and go right down to that polling place.
So please, vote after today's service. And if you cannot vote today, make a plan to go vote. Go
This
to
is terrible.
iwillvote.com.
I would, if I was in Virginia, I would. I'm sorry, I didn't have her on the screen. You probably are glad that I didn't. If I were a Virginian Republican, I would call for the tax exempt status of every single church that message is played in. That is a political campaign ad for a particular candidate that is going directly into churches. I can't even believe they're doing that shit. That's crazy to me. All right. Unfortunately, today I've spent way too much time on that, and so now I'm running out of time for the show, which means the show's got to end. But it's not ending yet, so don't click away. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hello, Mike Savage. Blarg. So before you go, I would greatly appreciate it if you like what we do here on the Morning Night Live. Hit the like button, even if the metal is scrambling your brain right now. And share the stream before, during, and after the stream. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section, let them know you were here. Or you could be like Tazzy, and that you can even do. See, now Tazzy gave you a good example of how you can even do donations off hours when we're not running. If you do it through Streamlabs or the other two options down below. But during the show, you can also do super chats. I appreciate everyone who's able to do that. Not required, obviously, but it does help a lot, and it helps me do some new things with the show. The first year we were able to purchase a bunch of new equipment to get this microphone set up, which is much better than the old one I had, and learning how to put little trinkets and bells and whistles into the show makes it just more interesting, I hope. So thank you for everyone who's been a sponsor of the show over the last couple of years. I greatly appreciate it. By the way, we're coming up on our 700th show in just a few weeks here. So I'm excited for that. So anyway, I hope you all had a good day. I hope you had a good weekend. I didn't even get to ask you about that. Again, with the program, tomorrow. There will not be a show tomorrow. It will be in the afternoon, roughly around 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, just so you remember that. So come check it out tomorrow. And what? What am I thinking here? I don't know. I'll just we'll get caught up in the news tomorrow. And I hope you have a wonderful Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to go. I'm turning the metal off. My name's PDawgKnight, and by the way, I forgot to tell you, I do everything that we went over today will be in that single link right under the second paragraph, where I put the single link to all the articles that we do. Also, go check out the home page of the Glen Sheen Mansion and see what we saw this weekend. It's really beautiful. I will probably have a short video with some pictures and stuff. Or if you follow, here's what you can do. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm putting a lot of those pictures on Instagram. And my Instagram is YesThatMarty, just YesThatMarty. You can follow me on Instagram and or on Twitter at PDawgKnight. So I'll put some of those on there too. So, or on the other social media. Oh, real quick, thank you, Chicago Mike, just before the show ends here, with a donation. Thank you for sponsoring the show, sir, who says, have a great week, all, and meaning everybody, meaning y'all, everyone here. Thank you again. Time for me to go. Thanks, Chicago Mike. Oh, there we go. Thank you for sponsoring the show, Chicago Mike. All right, I gotta go. My name's PDawgKnight. Oh, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.